Hello, jury. Welcome back to the only slightly judgy podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Sean. He's Aiden, and this is my first episode back from a short break where we had some guests over last week to talk about Arcane. Yeah. So for today's episode, we thought we might maybe take a break from discussing some of the largest media franchises on the planet and just go over something that's maybe a little bit more meta. I think, at risk of sounding maybe a little pretentious, but I felt like it's something that's good to cover, especially with a lot of stuff that's slated to release this year. So, without further ado, one of our topics today will be adaptations. You know them, you love them, you have book book adaptations, comic adaptations, even game adaptations, which have been picking up a lot of steam lately. So, do you want to give us some opening thoughts?
Yeah. I think I think most recently like book adaptations have been on the rise for like the longest time. What with obviously Harry Potter being like the biggest one, and then what company was it? I think it was Universal. Universal's poor attempt at a Percy Jackson series. um, yeah, so that's been around for the longest time. Um, Comic book adaptations, obviously, DC, Marvel, the like, as well as newer ones, stuff like Invincible and The Boys, which have done pretty well, and as well as like games. I think recently there's been a lot of game adaptations.
Yeah, absolutely. In the last 5 years, especially.
Yeah, I think honestly the first one that comes to mind when I talk about game adaptations is actually Sonic, because it proves that internet bullying exists.
Was that one of the earlier examples of game adaptations too, especially recently?
It was
Like
one of the
good quality
most
ones.
it was one of the most popular recent ones, because there haven't
Yeah.
been a lot. I guess the one that has been quite prevalent are like the Mortal Kombat movies, but those are terrible. So
I feel like those are just supposed to be like dumb fun. But then we are getting Street Fighter this year as well.
oh my god, yeah, I'm so excited for
And
Street Fighter.
especially sorry?
I'm so excited for Street Fighter personally. It looks so good.
Yeah, same. I think game adaptations specifically have been doing better in like the TV show side of things. Where you have like Arcane obviously, you have um Fallout.
Fallout, yeah.
Yeah, what's another good one? You
Last
have I
of Us.
guess Last of Us, yeah.
I have
Cyberpunk
not
Edge
seen Last
Runners.
of Us actually, to be honest.
I haven't either. But
Hmm.
it felt like it was really successful, especially in the first season, I think.
Yeah,
But yeah, and even heavier on the animated side as well, you have Devil May Cry, um, like
Edge
uh,
Runners.
s- Edge Runners, obviously, yeah. Then I don't think we are that serious of gamers. So like the one question that comes to mind is, how much leeway do they get if you're trying to adapt a game into a movie or series?
Mm.
This is the part where like quote unquote true fans of the franchise will have a lot of thoughts to say.
Yeah, I agree. I know a lot of people who like okay, because I brought up Sonic. Like I know a lot of people who are really really into Sonic and were genuinely surprised by how not bad the first movie was. I think the Sonic fans really like Sonic 3 because of Shadow. And personally, I actually really like Sonic 3 as well. I'm very excited for Sonic 4. Yeah.
Yeah, because as a non-gamer, what I think about when going to a game adaptation is just like whether it sells me on the story of the game, not necessarily whether it follows like the plot of the game down to a T, which is where I guess that's the problem you get with adapting a story-based game as opposed to like
Yeah.
a multi-genre game such as like Super Mario, obviously,
Hmm.
where the movie just consists of them throwing characters and concepts against the wall.
Yeah.
That pleases the fans because Super Mario does not have a strong story.
That is fair. And like
Yeah.
it's very clearly cameo fest. Did you see the Star Fox poster?
Yeah, I did.
Dude.
It's so random.
No, I
It's so
think I
random.
think it'll all be worth it if we end up with a Super Smash movie. I think that would
Yeah.
be honestly really sick.
I think that's just one of the kind of series where since like Super Smash Bros is obviously like 20 franchises thrown together.
Yeah.
Like that is the one place where you can do a cameo fest and no one would mind.
For real. Like
Yeah.
dude, I think they've been Nintendo's been talking about doing like a live action Zelda show for like the longest time. If I'm correct, I think they casted them already, but there's just no
I'm
other
pretty sure.
development.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they wanted to do a movie, not a show.
Oh,
I don't remember. Yeah.
but yeah, I'm
Even that, you have like Zelda, obviously story heavy, especially the
yeah,
more recent games. So it'd be interested to see where they go.
bro. I'm here for the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Like, just get me that big crossover and I'm in. You know, like that's what I'm here for.
The material's been there. It's been there for a
Yeah,
long time.
it has. And like Smash was such a big thing when it came out as well, especially because it was a giant crossover event, right? Dude, I can't wait to see, like, can we see like 3D live action Kirby? Just this pink ball running around. What about books? What do you think is a really good book to screen adaptation?
On the book side, it's a bit more straightforward, you could say, than on the game side, because books are linear stories
Yeah.
where like your job would be to adapt them. But then you also run into the case where like at times it is better, so to speak, to cut things from the book that would bloat the story. Like the most obvious example is obviously Lord of the Rings, where the books have, I mean, the movie has no Tom Bombadil, it has no shapeshifters, it has elves at Helm's Deep. All that is, I guess it really depends on the strength of the creator doing the work, because like sometimes some decisions make more sense on a book, some make more sense on a screen, and there's really no strict rule for it.
Yeah, that's fair. Although it actually is a bit surprising that there's no Tom Bombadil in like the extended editions. That's a bit surprising, but I mean, I think Peter Jackson is an artist. I think he made the best trilogy of all time. So, you know, I'll give him that.
Yeah, it's also, I think it's a sort of thing where like the really purist fans probably do not like the movies, but then there's also, ever since the movies dropped, there's probably like such a small percentage of fans that are actually purists from like 40 years ago, so it doesn't really make like any effect in like enjoyment of the series in general.
Yeah. Do you know how to tell whether someone is a purist Lord of the Rings fan? You ask them if they've read the Silmarillion. If they
I have it on my
have,
shelf.
if they have,
Not
that
touch
means
it.
they are a hardcore purist Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah, I think even with like purists of everything, you have to give leeway, because like you can't just translate something cross medium and expect it to work extremely well.
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah.
I think there are a few exceptions where it's like everything is already laid out there for you, just file transfer over, you know that kind of thing. There's sometimes where changes just don't really make sense. What's a good example? Can you think of a good example? What I'm thinking of is the I don't know if you know this, because this is really niche. Do you know Shadow and Bone?
I know about it, but I haven't read it.
Do you know they made a Netflix show?
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah. So they shifted around Shadow and Bone a lot because they made a lot of timeline changes. It's so that they could do both Shadow and Bone and the Six of Crows duology at the same time, which to me didn't really work. I think they both worked individually, but when you put them in the same show, it didn't work for me. That's why I felt like that kind of ruined it. I'm still a bit mad that Netflix still cancelled it, but oh well.
All I know is my friends, like who are fans of it, are really mad about like the Six of Crows cancellation, because apparently, according to them, they set up a really good cast for the.
Oh, it was an extremely
characters.
good cast. It was. If there's one thing that show was good at, it was casting. Casting was really good for that show.
Netflix should kind of Netflix.
Yeah,
Like,
Netflix
I
is
think
Netflix.
obviously you have like the bad apples. You have the 2000s Percy Jackson, or was it 2010s? I don't remember.
I think
That
it was
Percy
around
Jackson was
late 2000s, but yeah.
we all know it was a train wreck.
Okay, I actually don't have a problem with the first movie. I think the first movie is fine. Okay, this is coming from someone who never really got into Percy Jackson. Like, I read the first book and that's it. But coming from someone who's not really into Percy Jackson, so grain of salt. But I don't think the first movie was that bad. I think I think obviously there are flaws here and there, but I think it's decent. I think Sea of Monsters is terribly iconic. It's so bad, but I think it's really funny. So yeah. What do you think about the show? Have you seen the show?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
But I had the misfortune of watching the first movie during like COVID, and that was the time where I had read like every single book like Riordan
Oh
had
no.
written in the universe. So yeah, I guess you could say I was a purist like at the time.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I think the thing with the Percy Jackson movies, like it's probably gonna be a ramble, but the thing with them is just that like the childhood wonder is so much of what makes Percy Jackson books like
Yeah.
stick out, and attempting to ground a story is like the same curse that like has befallen so many franchises in the last 2 decades,
Yeah.
where you have like you take all the magic out of it and it just doesn't work.
Mm. Yeah. I don't know if we've talked about this on the pod before, but like, what what do you think about Harry Potter, both as the adaptation and the books in general?
It's gonna be a really blasphemous take, but I have read the Harry Potter books front to back
Mm-hmm.
3 times,
Wow.
and I have not watched anything past the first movie.
Really? Wow, that's very
Yeah,
interesting.
you gotta understand, like, the first time I read Harry Potter books, I was 8, probably when I was between like 8 and 9 years old. And then my dad downloaded all the movies for me. And after getting through the first one, at the end when Professor Quirrell takes off his turban,
Oh.
it scared the shit out of me. So like, I guess I've never had the desire to revisit them. I know they're good. I know they're good adaptations and good stories of their own. But I don't know. And it's big too. It's eight times 2.5 hours. I just have never had the urge to
Yeah.
revisit them. Although I
Okay,
have
in
revisited
in
the
your
books.
defense, um the abomination that is Voldemort's face at the back of Quirrell's head is a lot for a 9-year-old to process. So I understand. I think a lot of people would describe Deathly Hallows as their endgame, which I I can see how that would be the case, but not at the same time. But yeah, I I don't remember if I've watched it first or read it first. I think I might have seen clips of it first and then read everything and then watched all the movies. Or it might have been I watched all of them and then read all of them. I don't know. Brain's a bit fuzzy on that. But I generally don't really like the movies. Nothing against, I think this is another example where casting is great. I think casting is great, performances are great. I think the pinnacle of performance in this franchise is Alan Rickman as Snape. I think he's the best actor ever in this franchise. Yeah, and applaud them for working so well with child actors. But I don't love the movies. There's not one thing about it that I don't like. It's like just together, I don't really like it. I think the books are way better because there's so much like entanglement, I guess. Because I think in the books, like there's D plots in some of the books. I think in Goblet of Fire there's like A B C D plot, you know. And I like how all of that comes tying together in the end, especially in Goblet of Fire. That's why Goblet of Fire is, I think, my second favorite book. Yeah, but generally, if you asked me to like, oh, do you like Harry Potter? And I'm like, no, I prefer Star Wars. So, yeah.
Yeah. I was just about to say that, like, even with the amount of time I spent engaging with the books, I think Harry Potter is not in my top 5 franchises
Yeah, same.
at all. I understand why it's a worldwide phenomenon, but it just wasn't for me. Yeah, even as a kid and as a teen.
Yeah.
I think what I remember about the books is that I think the quality got a bit worse after Sirius Black died. In, I believe, the 5th one.
I would disagree there. I really like Half-Blood Prince. I really, really like Half-Blood Prince. Half-Blood Prince, I think, is my like third favorite book.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think mine would be like Prisoner in first place.
Yeah. Azkaban's my
And
first as well.
yeah, and probably Order of the Phoenix at second. The others are all like, for me.
Dude, I love Order of the Phoenix, but it's so long. I think it's like 700 pages long, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember.
It's
Yeah.
so long. Yeah. Did you see the new trailer for the Harry Potter show that HBO is doing?
Yeah, I did.
What do we
What do you think
think?
about it?
First question, why? 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 Yeah. Second question, I'm not the biggest fan of the choice to cast a black actor for Snape. Um, I am all for, like, race doesn't matter for a character if that race is not pertinent to that character. Fine. I think Snape being white isn't pertinent to his character. But in the instance that you decide to cast a black actor for him, I think there are other implications for the fact where Harry's dad, James, bullies the living hell out of this guy. I think there's a different sentiment there, like there's a different layer added upon, oh, James doesn't like this guy. Now it's, oh, James doesn't like black people. So I think there's that added unnecessary layer of characterization. I don't understand why they made that choice. Granted, if his acting is great, then sure, whatever. But I don't think that's the best implication to send. But other than that, I don't really have any strong opinions. I think the center 3 kids are fine.
The thing is, like, Snape looks really young as well. Like,
Yes, agreed.
a bit too young to be the same age as Harry's dad. So I'm curious because like mostly what they sell the show on is that it's going to be a direct text to screen adaptation where not a single plot thread from the books is left out. So
Really, is that
if
how
they
they're marketing
do,
it?
yeah, like ever since the initial pitch or the initial announcement, the whole thing has been like we're stretching it out from a movie to a series so that there's enough meat to put every last detail in it.
Yeah.
That is supposedly what they're going with.
Are they doing like one book per season or like?
I think that's the plan.
Sorry, I'm just gonna go real quick. Who is the showrunner for this? Like, who are they using? Wow, where is the showrunner? Francesca Gardiner. Who are you? Who is you? Oh, she's nobody. Oh, Succession. Okay. Meh. Alright. Yeah, but that's Harry Potter.
Yeah, I think it's weird, but you have to consider that like to make a choice as bold as that, obviously it's like HBO.
Yeah.
HBO loves money. Like, who doesn't love money? So in order for them to commit to something like that and not, I mean, and expect to not drive all the fans away, they have to have something good up their sleeve. Like that's at least what I believe in.
How do you feel about like adaptations straying a bit away from the source material in order to pander to like the mass audience? Is it like the way I see it is like, do we want to pander to the demographic that this kind of content is aiming for and therefore try to adapt it as closely as possible to source material, or do we make certain changes so that it's more appealing to the mass public? What do you think about that?
I think as with everything else, there's two sides to this. Obviously, there's a case where you change something to make it more, like, as you said, appealing, and that ends up bringing in a huge ton of new fans. I think something like that happens with an easy example would be Arcane, where League is suddenly not treated as something that like only the edge of society plays, and when you have like everyone trying to learn the story, absorb a little bit of it, just because of a pretty drastic change from source material. But I guess in a case like that, you also have to consider that the source material is solid. Like us fans like it, but it is not great in any sense of the word. So in that case, bringing in a good writer to change things up is a good play, and obviously it worked out for them.
Something I thought about while you were talking is that crap, I lost my train of thought already. Okay, you know what, never mind. I forgot what I was gonna say. But essentially, yeah, I think it really depends. It's hard to make this kind of judgment because for things that I am a niche fan of, I'll be like, yes, stick to source material immensely. But for things that I am not a niche fan of, I'll be like, I'm not that interested in the details. Like, just pander to my like people pleasing perception. But yeah, so I think it's hard to make a real judgment there. I think I understand studios do what they have to do in order to maximize their uh, money flow and money yay. But yeah, I understand that studios sometimes have to make those changes in order to because sometimes, like you said, the medium isn't, it's not that simple transferring from one medium to another. I think for me, I think the adaptation that very clearly shows this is Maze Runner. There's quite a few details left out of Maze Runner, especially in Scorch Trials, in Death. Actually, not Death Cure. The first movie and Scorch Trials. I think the Death Cure was very close to the original book, but I think like the changes they made from the first movie. I mean, I can't list them off the top of my head right now, but I think that made a pretty good first movie. Like, I didn't miss those details, you know what I mean? So, I think if done well, if the changes are made well and like justified in that sense, then I guess if it's justified, then fans have nothing to say about it, right? So, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, you know what's a book adaptation that's like really, really drastically changed from the source material and no one knows about it because the movies are that popular?
What?
It's How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, you are
Do you know the
right.
books?
Yes, I did know that.
Yeah, there
I
were
did
12
not
books.
remember that until you said it.
There were 12
Wow.
books, and those were like my childhood books. I was like 5 or 6.
Bro,
I,
this
I
is
vividly
elite
remember
ball
like,
knowledge, man.
yeah, this it's
I
actually
personally
super
never
niche.
read them, but I know they
So
exist.
like, pretty much no one knows about it. Like that I have spoken with, even people who love the movies and like all the
How
spin-offs.
close is it to the source material?
Oh, how close is it?
Not at all.
Yeah, so like,
Really?
um, first of all, Toothless is tiny. It's like he sits on Hiccup's shoulder. Like that's
So
the
he's
scale we're
like
talking about.
Lockheed from X-Men.
I guess yeah, he like
Damn.
the whole concept of how like Toothless is seen as like a bad dragon for him to have is that he's tiny. He's like really, really tiny. It's on his shoulder.
So he's like training a
And then
runt, that kind of thing.
yeah. And pretty much not a single plot element from the movies past the first book is past the first movie is present in the books. Like the books take a wildly different route to it, where
Right.
Hiccup is a teen to young adult for the entire 12 books. And then for the first 6 books, you have like just normal adventures, Viking stuff, pirate stuff, even, which is not in the movies. And then past the halfway mark, suddenly the series becomes like suddenly Hiccup and his family and everyone on the tribe, like those that are good, all become like slaves. And then yeah, and then there's this
So random.
it sounds ridiculous as I say it, but it almost becomes like a really shallow commentary, like commentary for a child to sort of understand, and becomes like societal thing where like some dragons are trying to lead an uprising, and then you have the villain who's a human who's been like killed a few times and came back from the dead, and he's trying to lead this like uprising. And it just becomes this like really, really weird departure from the original story, but I also love it. Yeah, so that's one.
Yeah. So on the topic of How to Train Your Dragon, can I just say something about the third movie? Is that I don't much like the antagonist. I don't remember his name. The hunter guy, the white-haired hunter guy. Because I know people like to say like, oh, but he's the antithesis of Hiccup's character, therefore it makes him a good antagonist. Bro, what main antagonist? What majority of main antagonists are antithesis of like the main characters? Like, it's not a new thing. It's not a unique thing. So like, personally, I don't get that. I still do really like 3 though. I think 3 is the worst one out of the 3, obviously, but like, it's still not bad.
I honestly have no idea because I remember the plot of the books a lot more than the movies.
Have you
It's
seen
like
3?
yeah, I have a long
Oh,
time ago.
yeah,
I think
it's been a while.
yeah, like, for me, if you ask me how the Train Dragon ends, it's that they fight this pirate guy and his mother was a witch, and then there's like huge dragons. That's all I remember from it.
Dude, we should do a
It's
DreamWorks episode.
it's so different actually. I have no idea how to describe it. I've only let like one other person I know read it, and it's like so trippy.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Do you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, so obviously we've gone over comic adaptations enough on this podcast, so we'll skip over
Yeah.
that for now. And the next thing we wanted to maybe touch on is how the industry is changing, even as we watch it now, being like, I guess you could say, quite late-comer fans, just because of when we were born.
Yeah.
Obviously, the biggest thing that everyone will say is sort of killing the movie industry now is the thing where short attention spans. The dominant form of media everyone watches is like short videos, clips. That is taking over how I think we engage with pop culture.
Yeah. Like I think short form media is like, okay, I don't think it's that big of an issue. Like it is fueling the fire, but like it's doing it one drop at a time, right? I don't think it's mass contributing to it, but it's like a long term kind of effect. You know what I mean? Um yeah, like I actually saw like a study that did like, there's a study on film students, where it's like within the last 5 years, studies have shown there are a higher volume of film students who are not willing to sit down for a movie longer than 1 hour and 30 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, that it's a rising percentage, very concerningly. Um, like, I mean, currently as a film student now, I understand being like, guys, just keep movies to 2 hours. Like, all I do is watch movies now. Like, keep it to 2 hours, please. I get that, but I think I guess recent innovation of having a movie that's more than 2 hours long is like, I think it's important for some media to have that, because like the storytelling needs that runtime, aka Oppenheimer, Everything Everywhere All at Once. These are premier examples that need those runtimes because of by the nature of what the project is. Um, but yeah, I don't think film should like adapt to just because people have shorter attention spans. Like, personally.
yeah, it's fair. I mean, for me, I don't engage with short content that much, except for what my friends send me. I think I've seen some people do really creative things with it,
Yeah.
but I definitely don't see it taking over and becoming like the premium way of like engaging with stories anytime
Yeah.
soon. But the one thing I was going to point out is the most direct effect of this that I've seen among like my circle is that people are now obsessed with the concept of things happening in their movies, in their series.
Right.
You see this especially with like, I guess you could say, nerdy content, where it's like, we talked about this earlier before we started, where it's Invincible is
Yeah. Yeah.
like the glaring example of this. I don't know why the comic fan base is just that much more demanding than other fan bases, but every time the plot slows down, people like the characters talk, or there's no big fight happening,
Yeah.
someone is going to point out that like, why is nothing happening when that is really not the case.
I feel like I'm gonna go on a whim and say like the majority of the people who are saying, for example, who are saying Invincible season 4 episode 4 is filler, I'm guaranteed to you that those people have not read a single page of the comic. Even if you haven't read the entirety of Invincible, even if you've only read a bit of it, you would know that that kind of episode is actually extremely close to what the comic actually is. They do a lot of like side tangents, side plots. They do a lot of different like antagonist characters here and there. They'll have different plots going on at the same time. It's a normal thing for Invincible. So the fact that they managed to incorporate that into the show, I actually applaud Robert Kirkman for that. Like, I think that's really, really cool that they managed to do that.
I think it's a thing where I even had people tell me that like the first half of Thunderbolts was really boring because again nothing was happening, even though like considering the first half was like exploration of all the characters,
Yeah.
laying out their traumas and stuff, that really isn't what you call nothing happening.
I think that example of the first like act of Thunderbolts, I think that's a bit, I don't know, I don't really agree with that, because I think the first act of Thunderbolts is really important because first of all, they give us a cast of characters that majority of them we don't really care about. I'm gonna be honest. Ghost, I couldn't even tell you who else. John Walker. The only people like Red Guardian, the only people on that cast of characters that fans actually do care about is probably Yelena and Bucky, and that's it, right? So like, I think that runtime, that first act was needed for us to actually care about the characters, because what's the point of me watching the movie if I don't care about the characters? Okay, all die lah. Actually, I was genuinely expecting all of them to die in that movie, but generally, I think just because a movie is a financial flop doesn't make it a flop altogether. And I think Thunderbolts succeeded in what it was trying to do. And just because it didn't hit its budget doesn't make it a bad movie.
Yeah. And I've no idea why we see this happening a lot with like nerdy media. I think the last time I saw it happening was also The Boys season 4, where everything before the last 2 episodes contained a lot of like character moments, like subtle development parts where the main plot was not being moved forward, and then every episode you would see someone comment like, again, like nothing's happening. Where is the villain? Where is whoever? And up until the last 2 episodes where you have people going like, oh, this is peak. I love when this person did that person did this. I think.
To be honest, I was saying it's peak after every single episode, so I'm excused from this demographic.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm well aware. It's just that I have no idea why this is happening that much.
Yeah, I honestly think people just need to be patient and just stop talking and just watch the show. Like, you guys we don't have to comment on the flaws of every single episode. We don't have to comment on the flaws of every single like thing that we see, without actually finishing the whole thing and actually having time to sit and marinate on it. Because like, even before I talk about anything either on here or like in a review that I post, right, I spend some time by myself just being like, okay, what happened here, and like just actually reflecting on what I just saw.
Yeah, there really is no point in engaging with like discussion outside of a circle, because that is usually not productive.
Yeah, especially the internet, man. The internet will rage bait you so hard.
Yeah. And another thing I wanted to point out was that, if you remember Absolute Batman, like about halfway through the run before the start of the Bane arc, there's this like expedition issue where like at the end of it, Alfred tells Batman how Bane is gonna break him, and then the last panel shows Batman but like transformed by Bane.
Yeah.
And immediately like everyone was going like, oh, has Absolute Batman gone too far? And then it shows like the panels of like his like limbs being broken in this imaginary scenario, like ending with him in the Bane costume. And that is like 90% of the people commenting on that have definitely not read the issue at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that issue is so good, by the way.
It is. And it doesn't even take like a lot of reading comprehension to figure out that it's imaginary, because like they spell it out so many times before the last page. But if all you saw was the last page on like a TikTok, you probably get like carried away. So
yeah, it's crazy to me that some people read comics and they don't want to read, they just want to look at art.
Yeah.
At some point, yeah.
You know how there's this joke where like you take 5 people typing in a comic subreddit, and like only one of them has read the comic that they're talking about. I think that it's just really funny, but also sad at the same time.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with my friend the other day about Absolute Manhunter. He does not like Absolute Manhunter, and I'm like, why? It's pretty good. Like, I'm not as big of a fan of Absolute Manhunter as you are. Let's be real. But I still think Manhunter is pretty good for what it is. Like, then I think Dennis Camp's a genius, honestly. But like, I mean, not for what he's doing right now in Ultimate Endgame. We're just gonna skip past that. But I was like, bro, what do you mean? Absolute Manhunter's pretty great. Like, and he goes, no, there's too many words. And I'm like, and because there's too many, and because he doesn't read words, he gets the context of what's happening by the pictures. The thing is, you can't do that with Absolute Manhunter because it's so trippy.
That's the one series where like you could just flip to the next page and have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, am I personally offended? Yes, maybe slightly. Who cares? But I think I would rather someone not engage with like media than just do it shallowly and then try to talk about it as if they have. Like,
Yes,
it's just a
agreed.
pet peeve.
I'd rather
Yeah,
you not read Absolute Manhunter than talk about it, but haven't read anything about it.
yeah. I guess that just sums up my sentiment about most of what we discussed today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what about AI use?
Oh,
That's the hard topic. That's not just in this industry, but just the world in general.
is it hard? Not really, I think. As far as art is concerned, I think it's a negative in every single aspect.
Hmm.
I don't think there's an exception to this.
Personally, I think AI is a great tool for you to use for assistance. But at which point, and I'll be fine with people using AI, but at which point AI is used for a creative purpose in order to substitute things like writers, people like artists, people like storyboarders, people like pictures, people like creatives in general. I really, really don't like that. Like, at which someone makes a short film entirely from AI and you're just typing a prompt into a computer. That's something I really don't respect, because I don't think that's a like, you're turning a creative outlet into something that's not creative anymore, and that's something I don't like. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the thing I really hate is when people like try to pass it off in a creative sense that it's like a tool, it's enhancing their
Yeah.
original work. But then the fact is that they did not put any effort into it, and I would rather than just not try to pretend like they're involved in the arts. Especially, like, a common analogy I like to use is that like if you think AI is a tool artistically for you to use and enhance your own ideas, why is an athlete like taking performance drugs like frowned upon in that sense?
For real, preach. That's so real. Yes, I
I
so
think
agree with that.
yeah, it's not about enhancing what you have within you at all. It's just about like exploiting something, and
Mm.
with the ethics involved in how they get their databases from like the references,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
is obviously a huge no.
Yeah, yeah. Like logically, AI is based on algorithms. Those algorithms were based on the media that exists now. Like, the AI is pulling from things that have already been made. The entire point is, I want something that's never been made before. I want originality, I want authenticity, and that's the thing that we should keep pushing for. That's why people like Ryan Coogler is just amazing. That's why people
Yeah,
like Jonathan Hickman are amazing. All of these people that actually just fuel their creative outlet by being themselves and being the writers and the creatives that they know they are, and then making something that's so original that people have never seen before, and people want to see not new thing people want to see new things, right? Logically.
yeah, and you can't even argue using the point that like humans reference things that they like or stuff we make is like a homage to stuff that we really already like. That's
Yeah.
different because like humans put it through their own perspective. You know how you could say that like Star Wars is based on the samurai movies from the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
You could say that like the Joker movie is loosely based on like a Scorsese movie from I think the 80s. And all of that is different because like when a human adapts something they like, they put their own spin on it. And that is something that the machine does not do.
Yeah. Agreed. um we still have a bit more time. Do you want to talk about some trailers, some recent trailers?
Yeah, let's do something lighter after the episode. Yeah.
Have you
What do you
seen
have?
the Supergirl trailer?
The newest one? No, I
Yes, the
haven't.
newest one. Oh
Yeah, I haven't.
man, it looks
It's
so
okay,
great.
just talk about it.
I think it looks
I
great.
think I've seen screenshots of it. Yeah.
I have, I think, I don't know if I told you this, but I did recently finish Woman of Tomorrow,
Oh,
and I really like it. I think it's really good. It's one of the few things I will praise Tom King for. But
okay.
I'm sorry, man. Tom King is just not it. But yeah, I really liked Woman of Tomorrow. Um, I think I feel like the Supergirl movie is really turning. It's really like a steampunk edition of Woman of Tomorrow. That's how I feel about it. Like it's much more. I think because Woman of Tomorrow is meant to be this like bright psychedelic experience, and I don't know. It just really doesn't. The trailer really just doesn't feel psychedelic enough for me, for it to be like a proper page to screen thing. But obviously, as we've just talked about it, like sometimes change has to be made, and we have to accept that. But genuinely, I think the Supergirl trailer looks really good. My main plus point is Lobo. I think Jason Momoa is where he's at, bro. He's in his element. He's in his own skin. Really really like it. Yeah.
I think I've probably mentioned on the podcast before, but Woman of Tomorrow's like one of, if not the first comics I read when I was getting back into it.
Yeah.
Like way before any of the Absolute stuff even started. It's like knowing, like loving that for so long. I think seeing what I've seen, like seeing the previous trailer, did not excite me at all. Not to say at all, but it really didn't excite me as I had
Yeah.
hoped it
That's
would, because obviously, Woman of Tomorrow is such a like a visuals forward take, and I think taking away the visuals leaves you to work with only the story, which is not bad. But I would have really liked to
Yeah.
see some of the incredible art put into, or attempted to be put into like the screen.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think they're definitely gonna do a lot with like there's a scene in the trailer where you see like black veins start to appear on her skin. I think that's like the poison thing that's happening on, I forget what the planet is called, the one with the green sun. So yeah, I think that's similar to that, and I was like, oh, and I like pointed that out, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
I hope they're leaving a lot of the space stuff out of the trailers. If they're just showing the stuff on the first planet where she meets the girl, I think that would be fine. I hope they have something up their sleeve because
in Woman of Tomorrow they travel a lot.
yeah, they do. There's a lot of settings. Each one of them is colorful.
I wonder if they're gonna do the teleporting thing. I forget what it's called. I don't remember. You know the thing where it allows them to teleport to different like planets.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I wonder if they're gonna do
Yeah.
that. But anyway.
I wonder if she's gonna have the horse.
Oh, dude, I forgot everything already. What was the horse's name again?
I have no idea. It's been years, but
Oh, I hope they do the horse. That
I
would be
think
sick.
the visuals for that part were just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
One thing though, I think Lobo is a really good addition to the story because the villain of the story is really forgettable.
Yeah, Krem.
And since
I
it's a
heard-
space adventure,
Actually,
might as
like
well.
I saw an interview that Tom King said he originally wanted it to be a Lobo Supergirl story. But then like in the writers' room, apparently they decided that they cut Lobo to make Supergirl the main part of the story, which I think was a good cut. But I think Tom King's consulting on this movie, so I guess that's why Lobo's
I'm
here.
pretty sure he is. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense as well for the setting.
Yeah, I agree. What about Spider-Man?
Oh, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
I think I really want this to succeed.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, as we know, like I'm not biggest fan of the previous 3 MCU Spider-Man movies. I really hope they learn from their mistakes and they're really gonna knock it out of the park on this.
I think it on the surface it mostly looks like they are. Firstly, suit looks great, but one thing I always nitpick about the eyes. I don't think the eyes are nice. I don't think they're big enough, not enough whites. But yeah, that's just a nitpick. I really don't like more evidence that Sadie Sink is Jean Grey.
I'm just gonna leave that aside until it actually releases. I think
All my copium is telling me that she's not. #sink is in the wrong toilet.
I like that Tom Holland seems to be really all in on this one,
Yeah.
more so than he has been on the previous ones. And definitely they're not gonna just rely on the hype of whether like Toby and Andrew are gonna be in it. So
Yeah.
like they have to prove it with the quality of the movie. I think
I would say. Sorry, go ahead.
it could be a bit too many plots, but
Yeah,
we'll see
I
how that
agree.
goes.
I think the too many plot thing plays into Brand New Day actually, because like the Brand New Day comic is like a resetting of like, because before that was One More Day, the whole Mephisto thing where he cancels, like everyone knows he's Peter Parker or whatever. So Brand New Day is very, like the comic at least, it's very like quote unquote episodic. I guess that's the best word that I can come up with right now. It focuses him with a lot of different villains, maybe some D-listers, some C-listers, which we see in this trailer. So I think it's pretty cool. What do you think about that final shot with him coming down from the building versus the hand? I feel like
It
there's
wouldn't
some
be the
No Way
first
Home
time
trickery
they have
there.
edited people out. They did it once in Infinity War, they did it once in No Way Home. I think like there's definitely precedence for them trying that move again.
What's the likelihood that they're just trolling us? What if they purposely did that?
It would be funny. I'm
Yeah.
not sure whether the hand is related to Spider-Man at all. If he is.
That's the thing. That's what fuels my theory that I think there might be a chance that Daredevil is in this show. You don't have a hand without Daredevil. That's a general rule of thumb. I don't think there can be a property that includes the hand and not have Daredevil. I think Daredevil is a very central portion of it, especially with like the precedents already set by both the Netflix show and Born Again. So, yeah, I think it's possible that Matt is in that shot.
I don't think it's possible for the Hawk to be there. I think a lot of people are
No.
thinking Hawk is gonna be there, but I don't think he is. I doubt we're even gonna see him Hawk out. I think it'll just
Same.
be Banner in a really minor role. Pretty much what we see in the trailer. I
Same.
think, yeah.
I really like Frank. I really like Punisher in this. I think he's a really good addition.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance that the classic cover homages are just gonna be like a montage, right? With
Yeah.
the minor villains. All in all, it looks good.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic about it.
I will say I'm not the biggest fan of the Scorpion suit. I don't know what it is about it. Like it's the I don't know. It's the same reason why I don't love the Vulture suit. I don't know why. There's like something about it. Maybe it's because in my head it's like if you want like a really good technology suit, I think it's because I played the PS4 Spider-Man game. There's like you can't do better technology suits than what's in that game. Like that's the benchmark in my head already. But oh well, it looks nice. Whatever the actor's name is, finally he gets to play Scorpion, I guess. So
Want to do one more?
yeah. Actually didn't have anything else noted down. Can you think of any more trailers?
Dune?
Dude, this man, after he walked out of that hall, after he lost the Oscar, he's texting Dennis. He's like, "Drop the trailer, drop it now, drop it now."
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of peak. It is kind of peak.
It is peak.
I think it's
Like-
here's how peak it is, right? There's a new report that went out, I think a few days ago, that Marvel is thinking about changing the Doomsday release date to
Really? I haven't
like-
seen that.
to like either 1 or 2 weeks earlier. Dune 3 is so peak that it has Marvel quaking in their boots that they don't want to compete with it. I think it's also because they want the IMAX screens. Because Dune Part 3 has IMAX
I was
priority.
gonna bring up that they don't have the IMAX screens for Doomsday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's
As far as
the
I
reason why.
know, I thought IMAX screens were like fixed months in advance, so I'm not sure how much that would affect their chances of getting the screens.
To be fair, Doomsday finished filming like late last year. Like September maybe. And they're still doing reshoots now. Dune 3 I think finished filming or almost finished filming when Dune 2 released, I think. So yeah, I think they've had that IMAX date booked for a while now.
Yeah, definitely. And there's no chance that IMAX, the company, was going to give the screens to Avengers instead of Dune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I think Hans Zimmer is going platinum in my house, bro. Like that chant is crazy.
They haven't even put the chant on Spotify yet, which is sad.
Yeah.
I've tried to look it up a few times. It is so peak. It's so peak.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know much of what happens in Messiah other than the rough frame of the story, so I think I'm in for a treat with this one.
From the people that I've talked to that have read Messiah, apparently Messiah is insane. It's
I know
crazy.
I know the plot threads, I know the ending, but how we get there is something else.
The whole thing about like how I've been described as how Messiah goes, it's it's some antagonist going, I knew that you knew that I knew that you knew. And then Paul goes, ah ha ha, but I knew that you knew that I knew that you knew that I knew that you knew that I knew that you knew. So like I think one person described it to me as like Paul can see the future, right? He has those visions. And he sees bad things happening. And he decides not to do anything about it because it's the future, it's destiny. I can't change anything about it. Apparently it's really funny.
I
So
think this will be the one that like finally proves to some people that Paul is not like the clear-cut hero of the story.
yeah.
So like dealing with that much like morally dubious ground in a huge franchise and ending movie is gonna be something to witness.
Dune can just be summarized as, hey kids, you ever think about jihad? Yeah. I really hope they don't do more though. I think they should stop it here.
It's supposed to end, yeah,
Yeah.
because like the subsequent books get really really trippy, and the time jumps have like 4 digits in them. So I think they might as well just not try,
Have you seen the
and I
thing
don't think they
about
will.
I don't remember. I think it's Paul's kid is like, oh, I'm a sandworm now.
Yeah, he is, and then he rules the planet. He rules the universe for like 10,000 years.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's just the level of like drugs that Frank Herbert
I
was
think
on
if
when he
Herbert was
wrote
on
sequels.
I think he was on every drug known to mankind while he was writing those 4 books.
I think he admitted to that. I'm pretty sure he did. But
Major
yeah, Dune
hallucinogen.
3.
Yeah.
I think should we wrap it up here?
Yeah, I think we can call it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do all the normal YouTube stuff like comment, subscribe, drop your hot takes in the description below. And yeah, we'll catch you next week. See you.